Y'all, this ain't a drill. Rapper Jim Jones, Dipset's very own, has just been thrown in handcuffs. And guess what? The reason will leave your jaw on the floor. Hold up, Jim Jones. The same Jim who's been out here flexing, dropping bars and dodging wedding vows like Neo in the Matrix. Yeah, that Jim Jones. And now, it looks like his relationship drama just hit a whole new level of toxic. Word on the streets is Jim went off on Chrissy Lampkin. And by off, I don't mean a little lover's quarrel over who left the cap off the toothpaste. We're talking full-blown 911 calling, cops pulling up, handcuff clicking, chaos. But wait, wasn't Chrissy the one who proposed to him? What in the reverse? Uno card is this. So what really went down? What did Chrissy do? Or better yet, what did Jim do? And why is the internet losing its mind over this? Trust me, you're going to want to grab some popcorn, because this tea is boiling. Let's get into it. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, the reality TV couple that has kept fans entertained for over a decade, are now at the center of a scandal so wild it could shake the entire entertainment industry. Yeah, you heard that right. Jim Jones has been arrested for allegedly attacking Chrissy Lampkin. And this isn't some random gossip. Witnesses, police reports, and even close sources are all saying the same thing. This might be the final straw in their long, messy relationship. Now, if you've been following their roller coaster of a love story, you already know these two have had their fair share of drama. From Chrissy proposing to Jim because he wouldn't commit, to their heated fights on reality TV. This relationship has been anything but peaceful. But what really happened this time? Let's break it all down. It all started with a massive argument that escalated way out of control. According to inside sources, Jim and Chrissy had been arguing for days about something big. At first, people thought it was just another one of their regular blow-ups. But nah, this one was different. Neighbors reported hearing shouting, glass breaking, and doors slamming, like some full-on Hollywood drama happening right next door. And guess what? Wasn't just words being exchanged. Sources say things got physical. Now, here's where it gets wild. Some reports claim Chrissy was the one who started throwing things, but Jim, he took it to another level. According to the police report, when officers arrived at the scene, Chrissy was visibly shaken, and Jim was agitated and refusing to cooperate. And let's be real, this ain't Jim's first run-in with the law. We've seen his name pop up in legal troubles before, but this might be the worst one yet. So, what really caused this fight? Because, let's be honest, nobody just snaps out of nowhere. Turns out, it all comes back to something Jim has been struggling with for years. Money. Now, Jim likes to flex. We're talking about a man who lives lavishly, spends on designer clothes, flashy jewelry, and expensive cars. But here's the kicker. His financial situation ain't as solid as he wants people to believe. And Chrissy has had enough. Sources close to the couple claim Chrissy has been holding things together for years, making sure their bills are paid while Jim keeps up his rapper lifestyle. And this time, she finally snapped and called him out on it. Where's the money going? Jim, Chrissy allegedly screamed during the argument. And Jim, he wasn't having it. Okay, now if y'all remember, this isn't the first time Chrissy has had issues with Jim's financial habits. Go back a few years, okay, and you'll remember how she kept pushing him to be more responsible, invest in their future, and stop blowing money like he's still at the top of the rap game. And Jim, he just kept doing things his way. But this time, it was different. When the cops pulled up, they weren't expecting this level of chaos. According to eyewitnesses, Jim refused to calm down. Officers reportedly tried to de-escalate the situation, but Jim, he wasn't listening. One officer allegedly asked Jim to step outside so they could figure out what was going on. But Jim, he wasn't having it. He started yelling, telling them they had no business being in his home. And Chrissy, she was standing there in shock. One source claims she never expected it to go this far. See, that's the crazy part. Chrissy didn't even call the cops. It was the neighbors who reported the disturbance because they were scared something serious was going down. So, what happens next? Jim gets arrested. Now, here's where things get really messy. The police reportedly tried to give Jim a chance to calm down. But when he kept resisting, they had no choice but to put him in cuffs. And let's talk about the mugshot moment. Because you already know the internet is about to have a field day with this one. Jim Jones. The man who's always talking about being untouchable. sitting there in a police station, trying to figure out how the hell he got here. But here's the real question. What does this mean for Chrissy? Because let's be honest, after years and years of putting up with Jim's nonsense, is this finally the breaking point? See, the internet is already divided. Some people are saying Chrissy needs to leave. This man ain't never gonna change. Others, they think she's gonna stay because, let's be real, she's stuck by him through worse. But let's talk about reality. Jim is now facing legal trouble, and depending on how serious the charges are, this could mean major consequences for his career. Well, here's where things get even crazier. If Jim gets officially charged, we could be looking at a long legal battle. And let's not forget, he already has a history with the law. So, will Chrissy stick around to help him get out of this mess? Or is this finally the end of the road for the couple who's been holding on by a thread for years? Either way, one thing is for sure, this is about to be one of the biggest scandals to hit the entertainment world in a long time. And guess what? We're just getting started. All right, let's dive straight into part 2 of this wild situation because, trust me, this story is only getting crazier. So, last we left off, Jim Jones was getting hauled off in handcuffs. Chrissy was standing there in shock. And the internet was losing its damn mind. But this is where things take a serious turn, because now we have to talk about the fallout. Y'all already know how the internet operates. The second that mugshot dropped, people started cooking Jim like it was Thanksgiving dinner. The memes, the tweets, the Instagram posts, it was nonstop. And let me tell you, the reactions were split right down the middle. On one side, you had people saying Chrissy needs to run. She should have left years ago. And on the other side, folks were like, nah, this is just another one of their toxic fights. They'll be back together next week. But here's where things get really messy. 'Cause, remember, this wasn't just some private argument that got out of hand. Nah, this turned into a full-blown criminal case. As soon as Jim got booked, the police started their investigation, and that's when things started leaking. Anonymous sources, allegedly from inside the police department, started talking to blogs. And let's just say, what they had to say was not looking good for Jim. One source claimed that when officers arrived, they found evidence of a physical altercation. Now, what does that mean? Well, according to reports, there were signs that Chrissy had been injured during the fight. Now, hold up. Let's be clear. Chrissy herself did not press charges. At least, not yet. But here's the thing. In domestic cases, the victim doesn't always have to press charges. If the police believe there's enough evidence, they can pursue the case on their own. And that's exactly what's happening here. Which means Jim might be facing some serious legal trouble. Now, let's talk about what this means for his career. Because, chilly, this could be bad. Jim Jones has been in the industry for decades. He's seen the highs, the lows, and everything in between. But let's be honest, he's not at the top of the rap game like he used to be. And in today's world, scandal like this could be the final nail in the coffin. Sponsors, brand deals, potential TV opportunities, all of that could be on the line. And let's not forget, Jim has been trying to expand his business empire for years. He's been working on real estate deals, launching different ventures, and trying to keep himself relevant outside of music. But if this case goes to trial, if this turns into a full-blown legal battle, that could put everything in jeopardy. And let's talk about the money, because let's be real. Legal battles are expensive. Bail, lawyers, court fees, it all adds up. And if Jim is already struggling financially, like people are saying, this could be devastating. But here's where things take an even crazier turn. Because while Jim is sitting in jail trying to figure out his next move, Chrissy, she's been quiet. Like, too quiet. No statements, no social media posts, nothing. And if you know Chrissy, you know that's not like her. So, what's really going on? Well, here's what some sources are saying. Apparently, Chrissy has been in talks with her legal team trying to figure out her next move. Because remember, this isn't just about Jim. This is about her reputation too. For years, Chrissy has been trying to separate herself from the angry girlfriend label. She's been working on her own projects, building her brand, and trying to show people that she's more than just Jim Jones' fiancé. But now she's right back in the middle of another scandal. Let's be honest, this could be her way out. Because let's not forget, Chrissy and Jim never actually got married. She's been waiting on that ring for over a decade, and at this point, it ain't looking like it's ever going to happen. So now, people are wondering, will she finally walk away? Because let's be real, if there was ever a time to do it, it's now. But here's where things get even wilder. While Jim is dealing with all of this, some old skeletons are starting to crawl out of the closet. People are digging up past allegations, past legal troubles, and even past rumors about his behavior behind closed doors. And y'all know the internet doesn't forget anything. A few years back, there were whispers about Jim and his temper. Some people claimed he had a history of being aggressive when things didn't go his way. And now, those same people are coming out of the woodwork saying, see, we told y'all this wasn't new. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Jim and Chrissy anymore. Because now other celebrities are getting involved. You've got people in the industry speaking out, taking sides, and throwing shade. Some are defending Jim, saying the media is blowing this out of proportion. Others, they're saying this is just another example of a toxic man in the industry getting exposed. And y'all know when celebrities start picking sides, things get messy. But here's what's really got people shook. Some of Jim's own friends, they're not defending him. People who used to be close to him are staying silent. And you know what they say? When your own people don't speak up for you, that says a lot. Now, let's talk about the legal side of things, because, this is about to get complicated. Since the police are moving forward with the case, Jim is going to have to lawyer up big time. And depending on how serious the charges are, he could be looking at some real consequences. Best case scenario, he gets hit with a fine and probation. Worst case, he could be facing actual jail time. And let's be real, Jim is not built for that life. Now, if y'all remember, Jim has had legal issues in the past, but he's always managed to slide out of trouble. But this time it might not be that easy. Because in today's climate, people are not playing when it comes to these kinds of cases. And if the DA decides to make an example out of him, it could be bad. So, the question now is, how does Jim get out of this mess? Can he even fix this? And more importantly, does Chrissy even want to help him anymore? Because, let's be honest, she's been cleaning up his messes for years. But this might be too much. So, what's next? Is Jim about to lose everything? Is Chrissy finally about to leave? And most importantly, is this the end of Jim Jones as we know him? Because right now, things ain't looking good. But hold up, there's still more to this story. Because just when we thought it couldn't get any crazier, new information just dropped. And trust me, you are not going to believe what's coming next. All right, now let's get into part 3. Because trust me, this situation just took a whole new turn. And it's looking bad for Jim Jones. So last we left off, Jim was sitting in jail. Chrissy was being way too quiet, and the whole industry was watching to see what happens next. But now, some brand new information just dropped, okay? And it might be the final nail in the coffin for Jim. Because guess what? Chrissy is done. Yeah, you heard that right. After years of standing by this man, years of waiting for a wedding that never happened, years of dealing with drama, Chrissy is finally walking away. Sources close to her are saying that this was her breaking point. She's tired of cleaning up his messes, tired of fighting the same battles over and over, and most of all, she's tired of looking like a fool in front of the world. And listen, this ain't just some cooling off period. Chrissy is making some big moves behind the scenes. According to reports, she's already been talking to her lawyers about separating her finances from Jim's. Now, it's a big deal because, remember, these two might not be married, but they've got a lot of business ties together. So if Chrissy is making sure her money is safe, that means she's really done. But here's the craziest part. She's not just walking away from Jim. She's walking away from everything. Sources say Chrissy is planning to leave New York for good. She's looking at houses in Miami. She's been reaching out to real estate agents, and she's already planning her next chapter without Jim. Now, let's talk about what this means for Jim. Because, let's be honest, Jim, without Chrissy, that's a whole different reality. For years, she's been the one keeping him grounded. She's been the one making sure he didn't spiral out of control. And now that she's gone, Jim is about to see just how much he really needed her. But hold up, this story is far from over. Okay, while Jim is dealing with all this personal drama, his legal problems just got even worse. Y'all remember how the police were already moving forward with the case, right? Well, now they've upgraded the charges. At first, he was looking at a simple domestic dispute charge, but now he's facing felony charges. Why? Because apparently new evidence came out that made prosecutors take this way more seriously now. They haven't said exactly what that evidence is, but some people are saying that surveillance footage from their house might have caught the entire fight on camera. And if that's true, if there's video proof, phew, Jim is in deep trouble. Because let's be real, when there's video evidence, ain't no wiggling your way out of that dot, and it gets worse. Because now a judge has officially placed a restraining order against Jim. That means he can't go anywhere near Chrissy. Can't contact her, can't even try to fix things. And if he does, he could be facing even more jail time. But let's get into the industry side of this, because few people are jumping ship. Remember how I said some of Jim's own people were staying quiet? Well, now they're actively distancing themselves. Some of his longtime friends and business partners are slowly backing away, unfollowing him on social media and pretending like they never even knew him. And you already know what that means. Nobody wants to go down with the ship. In the music industry, when you start losing your connections, that's when you know it's bad. Because, let's be honest, Jim wasn't exactly at the top of the rap game anymore. He was still respected, still had a name, but he was more focused on other business ventures. But now, those business ventures are in jeopardy. Brands don't want to be associated with a scandal like this. Investors don't want their names tied to a potential domestic abuser. And people are already starting to pull out of deals with Jim, one of his biggest real estate projects. Canceled? A potential TV deal he was working on. Con. And let's not forget, Jim was trying to get back into the love and hip-hop scene. But now, ain't Noah Mona Scott Young is bringing him back after this. Because, let's be real, love and hip-hop thrives on drama, but they ain't trying to get involved in something this messy. Now, let's talk about the public reaction. Because y'all know the internet has been eating this up. The memes, the Twitter threads, the deep dives into Jim's past. It's all happening in real time. And let's just say, people have opinions. Some folks are saying, good for Chrissy, she should have been left him. Others, they're defending Jim, saying this is just another case of the media trying to tear a black man down. But one thing is for sure, Jim's reputation is taking a massive hit. And it's not just the internet that's talking. Other celebrities are starting to weigh in too. 50 Cent, y'all know he couldn't resist. He already threw some shade on Instagram, basically clowning Jim for getting locked up and saying, I told y'all this dude was messy. But it's not just his enemies speaking out. Some of his own friends are trying to give him advice too. People like Cameron and Jewel Santana are allegedly telling Jim to lay low and stop talking. Because if he keeps running his mouth, he's just gonna make things worse. But y'all know Jim, he ain't the type to stay quiet. And now, reports are saying that he's planning to do a full interview as soon as he's out of jail. A tell-all, sit down. Interview where he's gonna tell his side of the story. But here's the thing. Will people even believe him at this point? Because let's be real, no matter what he says, that mugshot is already out there. Those reports are already out there. That restraining order is already out there. So even if he tries to clean this up, the damage is already done. The big question, what happens next? Will Jim actually end up in prison? Will Chrissy move on and start a whole new life without him? And most importantly, is this the end of Jim Jones' career? Because, let's be real, he might have survived past scandals before, but this one might be the one that takes him all the way down. And trust me, this story is far from over, because you already know there's going to be more twists, more turns, and more drama. So stay tuned, because this situation is about to get even crazier. Phew, y'all, this story is insane, and it's only getting wilder by the second. Jim Jones sitting behind bars, Chrissy Lampkin finally walking away. Business deals crashing, and the entire industry turning their backs on him. Like, is this really the end for Jim? Or is he about to pull off the biggest comeback we've ever seen? And let's talk about Chrissy. Y'all think she's really done with him this time? Or is this just another one of those situations where they break up today and get back together next week? Because let's be honest, we've seen this before. One thing's for sure. Though Jim is in some deep trouble, and if these felony charges stick, he might not be seeing freedom anytime soon. But what do y'all think? Should Chrissy have left him years ago? Or is she making the wrong move by walking away now?